impact of China's boom is hitting home in all sorts of ways, both subtle and obvious, that can be felt in our everyday reality. Mention an interest in China to your old friend who owns an industrial tool-making shop, and he confides that his factory, which was started by his father and has bought a comfortable suburban life for 3 generations of his family, as well as good wages to hundreds of workers, is getting killed by the people over there. Talk to your family plumber, and first he complains that he spends all day replacing broken Chinese parts, and then he takes from his bag a Chinese part he says is better, sheepishly adding, "They're actually pretty darn good now, and all we can get these days without spending a fortune." Run into a parent of a freshman from your daughter's high school class, a mom you've seen for years at holiday concerts in which your 2 girls both play viola. The mom immigrated to the United States from China in 1995 to study solid-state physics and is now a researcher at the local medical school. She says she's going back to China to join a friend's business that develops software for MRI machines and other high-tech medical devices. What about her research at the hospital? She says the opportunities in China now are too big to miss, and she does not want to blame herself later. Mention this story to another friend, a world-famous researcher who studies the lives of cells, and he tells you that American university biology departments now exist, in essence, to transfer knowledge from old Jewish men to young Chinese women. Cross the street to the all-night city convenience store, run by a family of Palestinian immigrants, and notice that behind the counter, where cigarettes were once sold, is a wall of no-name Chinese accessories for dozens of different brand-name cell phones, batteries, car adapters, earphones, and cases, none for more than $12. "They're selling great," the man at the cash register says. Meet a smart old high school friend who always wore thick glasses, but whose nose is now bare. He teaches English at a giant private language school in Shanghai, but is home to show off the results of his $600 laser eye surgery, performed, he says, in an ultra-modern Chinese clinic for 1/10 the price the procedure would cost at home. Grab breakfast at a diner in St. Joseph, Michigan. One table over sit 4 men, each somewhere between the ages of 30 and 60. They look as if they are dressed for factory work, but at 10 a.m. they sit and discuss the layoffs in the local disc brake and machining factory of Bosch, the giant German auto parts manufacturer that is rapidly building up its capacity in China. The company is laying off thousands of workers at its plants throughout the state, it says, to stay competitive. The men lament that there are few places to turn for new jobs. Whirlpool, Clark Equipment, and other once solid manufacturers used to thrive in the area, but now their factories are shuttered or just shells of their former selves. Notice that the Armani Emporium on Via Monzoni in Milan, the Italian fashion capital, revises its list of sister stores worldwide to include Shanghai. Head for a dim sum lunch in Chinatown and see on the corner a somewhat bewildered young Chinese man, squat, strong, and weathered, looking as though he has come to work the American railroad boom a century too late. He leans on a large bundle wrapped in a plastic tarp and tied with cellophane ribbon that probably contains all his worldly goods. He is one of China's untold millions of rural migrants, but has somehow, perhaps with the help of a smuggler, found his way far past China's thriving ports. He will now compete for work on the low rung of America's domestic economy. A contractor shows you the home of a client who has renovated her master bath. He's replaced a long old Formica countertop with an expanse of midnight blue marble, as ornately beveled as one might find in a Venetian spa. He sees your eyes widen and recommends the same for you, saying it's Italian, it's expensive, but it's worth it. After you complain about the price, you follow the contractor in his truck to a lumber yard. Inside are giant crates of pre-cut granite for kitchens, bathrooms, and living room mantels. Everything on them is finished and glued. If you can work with one of these tops as is, the contractor tells you, the counter will cost $450, not $8,000. The yard's owner comes over. He says, buy fast, because the crates only stay in the store a day or two before he sells out. He's been carrying the counters for a year. A guy from China came by and said he had 3 quarries where they cut the stone and finished it. I tried it out. Now I can't get enough. Wake up in Santa Barbara, California one morning to a sky that looks as though it is painted a shiny white. The morning's newspaper reports that the sunlight is playing tricks on a dust cloud that has drifted over the Pacific from China. The cloud contains particles of loose earth from deforested land mixed with arsenic and other industrial pollutants from the country's factories. Buy a real pair of Levi's jeans at Walmart. They are cheaper than the new pair you bought 20 years ago. Get invited to a purse party by an office mate who says she is friends with the host, a United Airlines stewardess. Her apartment, decorated with paper lanterns and silk pillows, is piled high with the latest Louis Vuitton and Prada handbags, Burberry coats, North Face parkas, leather Timberland jackets, Ralph Lauren tops, and Chanel scarves. On her table is a valise with glistening Rolex, Bulgari, and Cartier watches. Take a Coke from the cooler, she says. Look around. Make an offer. Think cheap. It's all knockoffs. Leave with a North Face for $20 and a sharp new watch for $35. She's doubled her money. You never look at a designer label the same way again. Pull your Honda Civic up to the gas pump. At $2.30 a gallon, it costs $30 to fill the tank. Drive through Houghton, Michigan, a remote town on the state's chilly Upper Peninsula. Stop by the student bookstore at Michigan Tech. On the local author's table is a book titled Being a Graduate Student in the U.S., written by 2 of the university's Chinese students. The cashier reports that the book sells well in China. Stop an Asian student on campus and ask how he heard about Michigan Tech. His university in Beijing has a strong relationship with the school, and his professors told him about it, he tells you. When asked how he likes studying there, he says Michigan is cold, the food is bad, and it has been hard to blend in, except with the 140 other Chinese students. The technological education, however, is excellent. Stop at the auto supply store for windshield wiper fluid. Half the store is now a showroom for small Chinese motor scooters, some of which look like half Harleys, others like Ducatis. Most cost less than $300. Attend dinner at the home of a discerning art collector. On the wall are 4-foot-tall photographs of a ruined Chinese cityscape. Invest in contemporary Chinese art, the collector says. It's the most interesting in the world right now. And once the Chinese themselves start buying, the prices will go sky high. Take a trip to Paris to see its famous attractions and to stroll the Champs-Élysées, the boulevard whose national character is usually guarded with jealous fanaticism by the French. Yet for the first time in history, the most beautiful street in the world is surrendered to a non-French cultural event, a Chinese parade with 7,000 costumed musicians, acrobats, and dragon dancers. That night, the Eiffel Tower is lit red, and fireworks fill the sky to celebrate the Chinese Lunar New Year. The festivities come at a time when France is sharply critical of its Western allies, the United States and Great Britain. The show also coincides with a visit by Chinese political leaders to France to seal broad strategic and economic agreements. Decide at last to put your old film camera away and plunge into digital photography. Photo magazines all rave about a small new Nikon, an engineering wonder that can shoot fast, capture dimly lit scenes that would foil its best film rival, and costs half the price of